How long can I keep bread dough in the refrigerator? If I've made some dough and want to bake it later, how long can I store it in the refrigerator? Do I need to do anything special to make that work out? Are there any types of bread it won't work well for?
You can refrigerate all kinds of yeast bread dough. Right after kneading, before the dough has had a chance to rise, oil the dough lightly, cover with plastic wrap or use a Ziploc, and place in the refrigerator. As the dough cools in the refrigerator, the action of the yeast will slow down until the dough has reached refrigeration temperature. At that point, the yeast is still working, but at a snail's pace. So, during the first few hours in the fridge, it may require a punch down or two, as there may still be enough warmth in the dough for the yeast to show active signs of life. After the dough is completely cool, it may not need anything from you, but still check it at least every 12 hours or so. It may need another punch down. If at any point it grows to close to double its original size, go ahead and punch it down. Most doughs will be fine if babysat like this for up to 3 or 4 days. When you're ready to bake, punch down the dough again, if necessary, shape, and allow to rise as if it had never taken its little nap in the refrigerator. Of course, this rise is going to take longer than non-refrigerated dough as it reaches room temperature, but it should be ready to bake when it looks like a non-refrigerated dough of the same type would look when it's ready to bake. Bake as usual. I'm sure there are exceptions to the basic rules I've set out, but I've never had a problem doing this with any yeast bread dough. It is possible to cold-proof for a week or even longer in the refrigerator. I have even frozen dough for a month and then thawed it for a day in the fridge and still had ample spring during baking. Yeast will not die at cold temperatures, it just slows down. That being said, the higher the protein and the more sugar, the longer the yeast will be able to eat. Do not use tons of yeast if you want to keep the dough cold-proofing for a week. The small amount of yeast will continue to eat just fine until all sugars are gone. Cold-proof immediately after kneading and forming the initial dough. High hydration dough works significantly better. If not using a Ziploc bag, then place in a bowl with plastic wrap tightly over the top. If oxygen is exposed to the dough, the areas exposed will become hard and cake together, not allowing for spring and uniform bread rising. Allow dough to proof for 35 minutes once removed from the fridge. Lightly shape long-proofed dough so that it does not degas the bread. Do not knead once out of the fridge. There may be exceptions, but those are for experienced bread bakers.